Welcome back to the program. This is the news desk right here on KTN News. Now, let me take you over to a neighboring country, that is Uganda, where a lot of development, politically speaking, in vocal Ugandan legislature. Robert Kyangulanyi, who is popularly known as Bobi Wine, has been airlifted to Kampala, Uganda from Gulu, where he was court-martialed yesterday. The MP was visibly weak and unable to stand when he appeared before the court-martial. A group of legislators and lawyers have been pushing for his release. Bobi Wine was arrested in the aftermath of the deadly clashes that rocked the West Nile town of Arua on the last day of campaigns to elect a member of parliament for the municipality. His driver was also shot dead on Monday night.
Gulu Magistrates Court that was gazetted to hear the case of the arrested members of parliament did not start business until 2 p.m. All the while, all those that had travelled from Kampala and Arua remained restless as uncertainty continued to grow on whether the case would finally start. At about 2 o'clock, the long wait came to an end as one by one they were led out of the waiting room to the courtroom. What was noticeable, however, was that some were unable to stand due to injuries sustained while in the hands of the special forces that carried out the operation in Arua. As court convened, it was discovered some of the people on the charge sheet were not in court, forcing court to adjourn for them to be brought in. The charges were read and 34 were charged with treason, a capital offence. The defence lawyers led by Dalton Oponya had requests to make to court about their clients. The accused were later transported to Gulu prison aboard a prison bus.
No, it's a normal process.
Kassiano Wadri was incarcerated as his constituents went to the polls, but he against all odds won the polls, even as he wasn't a free man on polling day. Wadri was arrested along with 33 others on the last day of the campaigns after a confrontation between the presidential security and his supporters. Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, who was arrested a day later, is still being held incommunicado with his lawyers and family denied access to him. Mityana Municipality MP Francis Zake could not as well be traced, with images emerging pointing to him being in a bad state after injuries allegedly inflicted on him during his arrest by security operatives.
Now, still on that developing story, Bobi Wine's lawyers now say the charges against the Member of Parliament do not make sense to them, saying they will push and fight for his release. Let's listen in.
The charge sheet has 3 counts. One is unlawful possession of firearms contrary to Section 3 of the Firearms Act. And it is alleged that he was found in illegal possession of a firearm, which is an SMG serial number 56 blah blah weapon, which is a monopoly of the UPDF. Then he was also said to have been found with another firearm, an SMG serial number UE blah blah equipment being monopoly of the defense forces. Then he was also said to be in unlawful possession of ammunitions, and that he was in possession of 35 live ammunitions of a caliber of 7.26 blah 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 equipment, ordinarily being a monopoly of the defense forces. So there is no treason, okay? We thought that since they had been arrested under similar circumstances, they would be charged with similar offenses. But whereas the other group was charged with the treason, for him it is unlawful possession of firearms and ammunition, okay? And that's why he was, brought here. As my senior colleague has said, when somebody is unwell, he cannot take plea. And it's a standard legal practice, okay? Because for you to take plea, you should be able to understand the contents or particulars of the charges. There is no doubt that Honorable Bobi Wine was not in control of his mental faculty because of the excessive torture that he faced. We were surprised that even when he was in solitary confinement, he was still handcuffed. And we were raising it with our colleague. How do you handcuff a person who is already in solitary confinement in some secluded house?
In his condition.
In his condition, okay? So it's really unfortunate. Now, the responsibility, the good thing is that the chairman of the General Court Martial has given us assurance that we will have unfettered and unconditional access to him in Machi. My senior colleague had protested his detention in a military facility, but we were given assurance that he will be okay and that we will access him. He even provided us his personal telephone number to say if we are obstructed from accessing him in the military facility, we call him directly. So we hope that with his word and with his commitment, we will be able to access our honorable colleague.
Protested first, the charging of a person who cannot understand the proceedings. Two, the remand in a military facility. Three, the brutalization. We also protested the manner of his treatment. We asked about the whereabouts of the Honorable Francis Zake, and we were informed they have no knowledge of where he is. But the face is swollen, the legs cannot support themselves. That is the situation.
Of course, that's a story that we're still keenly following for you. Remember, KTN is an authoritative, it's an authority rather, when it comes to matters regional affairs. And at the moment, our reporter or our correspondent, Solomon Serawanja, is still gathering some crucial information with regards to Bobi Wine there, a man who was arrested and now is being detained at a military facility. And this is what we know so far, that the embattled lawmaker, Bobi Wine, is currently being detained at the Makindye military barracks within Kampala, where we understand that only limited persons, including his wife, have been allowed to see him. I'm going to link up with Nicholas Opio, who is a human rights lawyer, shortly. And looking at his Twitter handle, this is what he tweeted like an hour ago. He said that he is at the Makindye military barracks, where Bobi Wine is being held. The chair of the Uganda Human Rights Commission, Lord Mayor, Bobi's wife, brother, and one lawyer allowed to enter the barracks to see him. Personal doctor and other lawyers have been blocked. He continues saying that several MPs, led by the leader of the opposition in parliament, have also been denied access to their fellow MP at the Makindye military barracks. And he had gone ahead and posted a picture there of some of the security personnel around that military facility. And Bobi Wine is not the only MP who has been arrested. He has been arrested together with 3 others, including the independent candidate that won that seat in Arua, I believe, a constituency in Uganda. Very interesting moment for Uganda and Ugandan politics there at a time when people are questioning